Good morning, everyone. This morning I'd like to share a word with you from the life of Jesus. This is something that stuck out to me as I was spending time in the Word this week. And what struck me about it is the theme of disappointment. That's a theme that all of us experience. If you're human, if you're alive, you have been and will be disappointed with people because they will fail to come through for you. They will fail to meet your expectations. And so all of us have and will experience frustration. We will be disappointed. And if we're not careful, if we don't guard our heart, that lack of expectation being met can lead us to personal rejection of the person. And that would be a very harmful thing indeed if that were to happen. And now, if we're not careful, that can apply to our relationship with Jesus. It's all too common that a person had an expectation of what Jesus ought to do for a person, and if Jesus didn't come through, it has led to personal rejection of Jesus. And that would prove to be a travesty. And so let's read the story. We're picking up in Luke chapter 23, and I'm going to pick up in verse 7. It's Jesus before Pilate. And he says, and when Pilate, this is talking about Pilate, when he learned that he belonged to Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him over to Herod, who was himself in Jerusalem at that time. When Herod saw Jesus, he was very glad, for he had long desired to see him because he had heard about him, and he was hoping to see a sign done by him. So he questioned him at some length, but he made no answer. The chief priests and the scribes stood by, vehemently accusing him, and Herod, with his soldiers, treated him with contempt and mocked him. Then, arraying him in splendid clothing, he sent him back to Pilate. And so the thing that stood out to me in that passage is how Herod was extremely excited to meet Jesus and to spend some time with him. But when Jesus didn't come through for him and perform some miracles as he expected, as he hoped, he personally rejected him. And so my thought that I'd like to leave with you is that Jesus is faithful and he is good and he is God and he will do what he is going to do and he has a plan. And sometimes it doesn't fit with our expectations. And so let's check our expectations and our assumptions at the door of what he must do and let him be God and do things on his own terms and in his own timing. And let's be careful to guard our hearts against personally rejecting people if they don't come through for us, and especially Jesus. If he doesn't come through for us in our own expectations of what we assume he should do for us, let's be careful that we don't fall in the trap of rejecting him personally as a result. And if we did that, we would be the ones who bear the consequence. Thanks.